Yeah, obviously everybody's going to kind of focus on how it finished, but can you talk about how you guys started and how ultimately damaging you think that was, the way you guys got off in the first quarter?
Obviously, I think in the first quarter they came out and they made a couple shots, got out in transition, and defensively got some stops. I mean, they got up on a bit of a run, so yeah.
Anything else for the student athletes? Michelle, right here.
Yeah, I guess, did you sort of feel like this was just like, I'm sorry, this is for Kia, it was just trading punches, and you guys were able to make some big plays there at the end of regulation, and it seemed like you took the momentum into overtime, but then it was just one punch after another.
Well, I think it was one of those games where obviously it was just a grind back and forth throughout the entire game, and it was just a battle. And I think, like Coach said, there was so many times where they could have just put us away, and we just clawed our way back into it and made some big play, and it was big play after big play. So I'm proud of my team for the way that they played in that section.
Anything else for the student athletes? We'll take one right here.
Coach Auriemma.
I'm sorry, we're still with the student athletes. Okay, we'll dismiss them back to the locker room. Connecticut locker room is open until 12:44 a.m. We'll take questions for Coach.
Okay. You know, as you come back from the 13-point deficit the first quarter, from 5 down to the last 21 seconds of regulation, the last few seconds of double overtime. And this happens 2 years in a row. You lose a buzzer beater in overtime. Can you describe how tough this is?
Some things just don't need explanations, you know. You really can't describe, you know, what goes into getting here and trying to win a championship. It's very, very difficult, and for a long, long time, you know, we made it look like it was easy, but it's very, very difficult as it's played out the last 2 years. As I said, for us to make the plays that we made to tie the game in regulation, then have a chance to win it, and to tie the game in overtime, I mean, that's what Connecticut basketball is all about. But they made one more big play than we did tonight.
Question here for Mike.
You know, I'm guessing that the last 2 years here kind of prove what you've always tried to say, that this is a lot harder than it looks.
Yeah. You know, when you do something and it seems like it's so effortless, and you do get numb and forget that it's difficult. It's very, very difficult. There are no bad teams. There's no bad players. You can't luck into a national championship. You have to play great. And you know, one or two players really make the difference at this time of the year. You know, I made this comment before that when your team gets to the Final Four, it's not your talent and it's not your team that's going to beat the other team. Generally, if you look back, there's one or two players that just make unbelievable plays and just dominate the game. And going in, you never know who they were going to be. You know, we thought, hey, you know, we do a great job on Mabry and Enrique, and the first half we did. And you know, Jackie Young's a good player. Everybody found out. So you don't get to this point because, you know, you're not good enough to win a national championship. And obviously Notre Dame's good enough. And they were better than us tonight.
Question, Michelle?
Gino, on a tough night, can you appreciate what kind of showcase this was for the women's game tonight? 2 overtime games
Yeah.
to decide national, to
Yeah.
put 2 teams in the title game.
Yeah, crazy. 2 overtime games, and again, when you see when you see the bracket come out and you see the field and you kind of project ahead if everybody wins, the 4 teams that could be in the Final Four, and it played out that way. There's no easy games here this weekend. There's no somebody snuck in there or somebody upset 3 different people to get here. The 4 best teams in the country were here, and they played like it. And it was an amazing night of basketball. For the fans here, for people watching, it was pretty impressive. I have to say.
Gino, you've spoken about this time of year and specifically this game helping to define who players are. What did Azurá Stevens define herself as tonight? What did you learn about her tonight?
Well, kind of what I already knew. Azurá can get a lot of things done on the court that most players can't. And then she does things on the court that I can't explain. So for her first year playing for us, I thought she was amazing all year long. She's come a long, long way, and this game will help her an awful lot because she's never been in this environment before. This is her first time, and this is Crystal's first time, really, where we said, hey, you're going to have to go out and help us win this game instead of, come off the bench and contribute 10 minutes. So for the 2 of them, this was big. This was really big. Fisa really struggled last year in this game and played great tonight. And Lou had a great game. She's a little bit worn down. So sometimes you have to be exposed to this and fail when it's all on you. It's a great learning tool, but I'm a pretty smart guy. I don't need to learn this shit 2 years in a row.
Question right here.
Gino, you talked about the underclassmen or learning experience, but it's got to be tough for the seniors to go out, 2 games like this in consecutive years.
Yeah.
Can you just talk a little about that?
Yeah, I don't know what our final record was over the last 2 years, but Kia and Gabby got a lot done in 2 years, and that's not even counting the 2 previous years that they had at Connecticut. Again, unfortunately, the way the game is set up, 1 weekend in March gets to decide your whole season if you're Connecticut. But for our seniors, they're gonna remember this one and last year's for a long, long time. The 2 championships they won freshman and sophomore year are probably distant memories right about now. But when they look back, they're going to look at what an amazing career they both had and what a great impact they had on Connecticut basketball and the people that they've come in contact with up at Connecticut. So, yeah, that's the unfortunate thing about being a senior in college. Very, very few kids have their senior season end with a national championship. And it's happened to a lot of kids at Connecticut, but wasn't meant to be for these 2.
We'll take one final question from Michelle here.
Gino, it's kind of a 2-part question. First, will you talk about that first quarter and how much ultimately you think it impacted the tone of the game for you guys? And actually, I forgot the second one because it's late. So.
Well, we came out thinking that there's a couple things that we're going to have to do defensively, and we got those things done. And unfortunately, on the offensive end, shots that we normally make, we didn't make. And we started to struggle a little bit finding any kind of rhythm on offense at the beginning. And I thought we became a little bit tentative. And then once the second quarter started and we found ourselves, then the game obviously turned. It was a lot like last year's game as well, you know, where the similar scenario happened. But games like this time of the year, generally speaking, they're never won or lost in the first quarter. You know, you can't win or lose a game in the first quarter. But I think the ability for Notre Dame to get to the free throw line and how physical they were inside, I thought going into the game, we said there's no way that Notre Dame does two things really, really well. They shoot the ball well, and when they miss, they go get it. So those are two things that are difficult to deal with. And tonight, you know, they did both of those things really well.
Thank you, Coach.
You're welcome.
Both locker rooms are still currently open. They're right here. Yep. Joining us on the dais now is Notre Dame. You can just let them while you're getting the water. Go ahead. Yeah, we're ready. From Notre Dame, we have head coach Muffet McGraw, student athletes Jackie Young, Jessica Shepard, and Enrique Ogunbowale. Excuse me. We'll take a statement from Coach McGraw, and then we will take questions for the student athletes.
So proud of this team, and you know, we got off to a great start. We had a little bit of trouble in the second quarter and responded well. It was a kind of a dogfight. I thought just both teams throwing punches. They made some big plays, some good plays. We made some good plays back. I thought it came down to rebounding in the fourth quarter and the overtime. And Jackie Young, I don't know what to say about her. Just I knew that she had it in her, and to get her career high in the national semifinal against Connecticut, I don't think you can ask for a better performance than what she gave tonight. But the big shot by Enrique, unbelievable. She does it all the time at practice, so we weren't that surprised, but definitely an exciting and big shot, and Jess was awesome the entire game.
Questions for the student athletes? We'll start here in the back. Tom, way in the back in the...
Enrique, you said yesterday that you didn't remember the first meeting between these two teams. Do you think you'll remember this one a little bit more?
I think a little bit, just a little bit.
Question right here in the front.
Enrique, could you describe the play, what the plan was for the last shot, and did you and your, and take us through the play?
Well, that definitely wasn't the play call.
Was you one-on-one?
Do you know what it was? I just don't remember. Like, we switched who was going to take the ball out like 3 times, me or Jackie. And then, I mean, Jess had an open lane, but then Marina got in, and I was just like, I guess I was just going to come get it. And my team trusted me to have the ball at the end of the game, so.
Did you know it was going in? I mean, talk about the shot as well.
I mean, it felt good. I didn't know it was going in, but it felt good, so.
Anything else for the student athletes? We'll go back there. Doug?
Doug Feinberg, the AP. Enrique, I think you missed 2 free throws a little before that. Is sort of redemption that you could have put the game away then, but now you hit the shot that everyone's going to remember from this game?
Yeah, I couldn't really dwell on those 2 free throws. We had to just think next play.
Question right here.
Jess, Howard Magdal from High Post Hoops. You know, you came to UConn as a freshman playing at University of Nebraska. Talked about how much you had to learn that day. Do you feel like your journey has led you to this, and what do you think you've learned that got you to a point where you can come in and beat them tonight?
I think the UConn game my freshman year was a big wake-up call for me. I think, you know, as Gino said, I was out of shape, and that's why I was missing the easy shots that I'd normally put in. So, you know, for me coming in this year, I knew that that was something that I wasn't going to let happen, and, you know, just be able to play UConn in this situation. It's an unreal feeling, and just to be playing for the national championship on Sunday, it's unbelievable.
Actually, we'll take right back here. It's coming in the aisle.
This question's for Jackie and Enrique. Guys, what gave you the confidence and faith that you guys were going to pull this out even after, you know, UConn takes back, you know, 2 5-point leads in regulation and overtime?
Do you want to start that, Jackie?
I mean, I think the coaches just really prepared us for this moment. They didn't let us get too hyped up whenever we had a lead, and I think we were able to really just keep our composure and just get the job done.
And yeah, I think sadly we've been in this position a lot where we were down by a big margin. So I guess it really helped for this game because we were used to it. I mean, we've had to overcome large deficits before, so we didn't get down on ourselves.
We'll take a final question for the student athletes right here. Yep, for the student athletes.
Yeah, I've got a few for Jackie. First, 2 points against Connecticut in December. How do you account for getting 32 tonight? And when did you realize that you were on and you're going to be on fire? And then one more question after.
I mean, from the start, they just left me open, and I think I hit my first shot, and after that we came back down the court. They just kept leaving me open, and I was able to get going.
Final question.
How would it feel after winning a state championship in high school to win both a state and a national championship if you can do that Sunday?
Yeah, I mean, it would be a great feeling. I mean, not many people have the chance to do that, but I mean, the coaches are just gonna prepare us for Sunday, and I think, I think we'll get the job done on Sunday. But it's just really just coming out strong on Sunday and just finishing the game.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you. Yes, state champ. Woo!
We'll continue with questions for Coach McGraw. We'll start right here in the front.
Muffet, tell us about the last play, what the design was, what the plan was.
The plan was to get Enrique to go one-on-one, drive the ball to the basket. We didn't think they would foul. It's obviously tie game. You don't want to put her on the free throw line. We were trying to isolate her on the wing. You know, she had a little trouble getting the ball, so it took a little while. We wanted to use a little bit of clock. We wanted to shoot it with about 5 seconds left, so we were trying to run the clock down. And fortunately, the way they were playing defensively, we had no choice but to use the clock. So I thought, you know, I probably should thank every Catholic from coast to coast for all the prayers on Good Friday at the end of that game.
Question from Doug.
Hey, Coach. Doug Feinberg, the AP. I mean, you've played this UConn 48 times now, and just you've had a lot of really good games. Where do you put this one in the lore of this rivalry?
This is, I think, the second or third time we beat them in the semifinal, and you know that's been our lucky charm. Can't seem to beat them in the final. So, but this one, I mean, to come from behind, to have a big lead, squander that, come from behind, and with this team, I mean, this one's really special. It's got to be the best one. Thank you.
Mr. Michelle.
Muppet, you know you have a talented team, and you know you're not very deep, but what did they show you tonight that maybe you hadn't even seen yet to this point in the season?
You know, I thought our zone was really good tonight. I thought we were really active. We moved well. I thought we did a lot of really good things. I think we were on it with the press. I think we switched to man-to-man at times, and we were really aware, I thought, of where the shooters were, which is something that we haven't done a great job of. But I think the resilience just really shines through, and the fighting spirit that we had tonight.
Question right here.
Muffet, I'm just curious, as far as Jess goes, to be able to get her and get her to be able to play immediately, you know it was a big deal, and we talked about it back in the fall, but have you reflected on just how significant that turned out to be, especially with you being down so many players?
You know, I would say every game we have a toast to the state of Nebraska and Jessica Shepard for being with us, because we wouldn't be here without her.
Question right here from Michelle. Mike's right there.
Muppet, can you appreciate what kind of showcase this was for women's basketball tonight?
Unbelievable. First time we've ever had 2 overtime games in the Final Four. Definitely set a record for what time the game finished. I think just great basketball. Both games, hard-fought battles, and exciting for the fans. That had to be a great TV game both times.
Take a question from Doug.
Muffet, I mean, you've been in this game for a while. It's a pretty good prediction. You said, I think, yesterday that Jackie Young might be the best guard in the history of Notre Dame when it's all said and done. I'm guessing tonight's game added to that potential?
Yeah, I mean, she showed what she can do, and she definitely has the ability, and I'm so excited now. Maybe this will be the kind of the first step for her to continue to be aggressive offensively.
Right next to you.
Coach, after they switched their defenses up a couple times, what do you think your team realized, or what did they recognize to then kind of to settle down, to stabilize a little bit? I mean, is a lot of that your forwards having 10 or 14 assists, being able to carve them up inside?
You know, their changing defenses bothered us a little bit. I think that we didn't handle it as well as we could have in the second quarter in particular. We had some openings. We weren't able to see them. Talked about them a little bit in the timeouts and at halftime, but that bothered us. I thought the way they came out. And they're just so long, you know, that was difficult. And I'm rambling because I've forgotten your question. I'm sorry.
One final question right here.
I'm
sorry, you didn't finish it?
Just was part of that your forwards, Jess and Catherine, they had 10 or 14 assists. Was it something that you think they recognized as that game went on? You know,
our posts are really good passers, and the way we run our offense from the elbow, it requires them to look for each other. I think Jess got double teamed, found somebody open. You know, I think that was definitely a big part of it, the way they have the vision to pass the ball.
Final question right here.
Coach, you have 4 players go down with ACL tears. What would you have said if somebody said you're going to have 4 ACL players, or 4 players lost with ACL tears, and you're still going to get the national championship game?
Well, I didn't think we would have more ACL tears than losses. I think that it's just an amazing accomplishment for this team, and the resilience they've shown all year.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks.
The Notre Dame locker room is now closed. Connecticut's will remain open until 12:44.